the last 20 years or so, they're ready. We're ready for it somewhere. I wanted to be Vancouver, though, first.
I don't know. I love Vancouver, but I hear Quebec is pretty nice.
Oh, it is
lovely. The problem is Adam Silver says they're not expanding. A team would have to move. So I don't know where they're coming from.
Okay.
How do you say?
I'm not gonna say any cities, but y'all know who you are.
How do you say Memphis in French? Aging. Vince Carter, future jump analyst, showing off a little 360 pregame. He's 41, Scotty.
Can I just call him Wine?
Seriously.
Yeah.
This is ridiculous.
He says future jump analyst what, in the year 2045?
I know.
He's never coming.
He's retiring.
He's never retiring.
3 years ago, he was like, okay, maybe this offseason I'll come join the show. We're still waiting. I think we're going to be still waiting after this. My Lord, he's right.
Only before I retire.
It's over. Call it off. It's just him. Look at this. Woo! Wow. Make Mamba Mentality, a story from The Athletic detailing Kobe Bryant encouraging Jeannie Buss to be ruthless in firing Mitch Kupchak and her brother Jim so they could, quote, get that player, which player, to sign with the Lakers. Are you shocked that Kobe was on Jeannie's side and cutting out the whole heart of the organization, including her brother?
I love the idea of him saying, you got to get rid of those guys. They make bad decisions like extending a guy with a torn Achilles for $70 million. Who does that? Get him out of here, Jeannie.
He went into retirement and he wanted something to cheer about.
Well, look, first of all, I want to make it very clear. Jeannie made these decisions.
Yes.
Nobody made them for her, and I think it's just emphasizing that Kobe was on her side and had her back. He didn't tell her to do this, though. This is Jeannie's call.
Hell of a thank you to Jim, though, for all that money.
Well, there you go. And she did it. So, empowered Jeannie Buss.
It's back.
Same as the King's Turn. Still our favorite show on the Jump. The first one, your first baby's always your favorite. The latest episode was so outrageous that even the @Sacramento Kings Twitter handle had to censor it, for the children.
Oh, come on.
Daddy, can you believe our favorite soap opera is now censored? It's just, I don't even know where to begin.
They got to move it to on ESPN Plus. Can we come? Is that like pay cable?
No, I don't think we can. It's still Disney Network.
All right.
This was bad. I mean, this was something that Dave Yeager had called sort of a dress rehearsal, right, for the season that the starters played. And I mean, they didn't want to. The Kings players. I mean, they said they were allergic to basket. It was not a good thing.
It looked like it.
It was not a good thing.
I mean, it is a dress rehearsal because that's what they're gonna look like in the regular season. So.
You know who was happy watching this game? The Boston Celtics.
Oh, yeah. Is there a pick going that way?
Because when Boston traded with Philadelphia, that 1 and 3 swap in the draft last year where they ended up getting Jason Tatum, and the Sixers grabbed that #1 pick so they could draft Markelle Fultz. Remember, Philadelphia also gave up a draft pick. They gave up Sacramento's draft pick.
Wow.
I love the idea of betting that they're still going to be terrible, right? When you do these deals years in advance, say, well, we're going to get your 2019 pick.
Right.
Like, they'll still be bad.
They'll be fine, right. Danny Ainge has got to be just cackling as he watches in his lair. I'm just imagining. Danny, I know,
he's killing the game as a GM.
Dude, he's got a lair. The Spurs suffering another setback at point guard. Greg Popovich said Derek White is now expected to be out 6 to 8 weeks with a torn heel ligament in his left heel. The team is already without DeJounte Murray, who suffered a torn right ACL. Lonnie Walker IV expected to miss 6 to 8 weeks with a torn right meniscus. Does anyone have Tony Parker's phone number?
How about Ginobili?
Mine will come back.
Check. What do you do?
I mean, this is why I said the Spurs might miss the playoffs this year. I know
at the beginning of the week, I didn't really agree with you, and now I can't.
It's a lot. It's a lot to overcome. And the onus is going to be on guys like Bryn Forbes, and they're going to have to go out and get some more help, I think.
It is. I mean, the Spurs, they've always relied on their veterans. The team stayed together. We were calling them Father Time for the past 5 years. And, those guys stuck around. They were pretty reliable in terms of getting old. And now, you're trying to move into this new generation of young players. It's not really working out. And you hate to see that for Pop because he's been so successful.
It's an interesting point, too, because even when the older guys weren't really playing up to their young selves' capability, they were that locker room presence. They were on the bench.
Yep.
If you did have guys who went down in a domino of injuries and someone really young and unproven had to step in, you did have like a guy like Manu on the team playing, whispering in his ear, that sort of thing. When a locker room suddenly loses that level of veteran leadership, Scotty, how much of an impact does it make, even if it wasn't on the court stuff?
Well, the assistant coaches really earned their money at that time because they really have to implement themselves a lot more in trying to help the players develop, help them learn the system. It becomes real tough when you got young players because they're not pros yet. They're not getting the calls in the game, so the breaks go really bad for them.
Well, Manu's kind of become a de facto assistant coach there, so maybe you might not be far off. Thunder coach Billy Donovan saying yesterday Russell Westbrook is progressing, quote progressing, quote progressive, one of those, getting closer to a return from surgery on his right knee, but he's not been cleared for full contact. Season starts in 5 days. Westbrook has been participating in more parts of practice, but his status for that opener is in question. So, I don't know, Scotty, look at that slate. If he's not even doing one-on-one yet, I don't see him for the
I think looking at that schedule, it'll be cool if he sit out for 5, 6 games.
Right?
You know?
There's 2 W's on there for sure. Well, look, this is the thing. If it were a regular, I got to say this every time we talk about the Western Conference. This is a regular NBA year, 5, 6 games, no big deal. He'll be back, and they'll be back to normal. The thing I worry about is...
I love this, by the way.
The thing I worry about is with so many teams in the West so tightly packed in and they're all jockeying for positions, are we going to be in a situation at the end of the year where because you went 2-4 in those games, that's why you're just shy of a playoff?
Well, last year, like the difference between 3 and 6, say, was what, 1 game, 2 games, something like that? I mean, the difference between not making it and being the 4th seed was 1 or 2 games. I mean, it's crazy out there. And then, of course, the questions with Russell are always, where is his athleticism going to be? It's such a huge part of his game.
Well, I expect him to come back better.
Okay.
When we've
think
seen
it's bionic
Russell,
in there?
Yeah, because when we've seen him have injuries in the past, he comes back with this fierce competitive fire.
That's true.
I expect nothing less. He's had a summer to really physically get his body ready.
Right. And the good thing is having Dennis Schroeder. That softens that blow.
Absolutely. Coming up, Kevin Garnett has chimed in on all the drama in Minnesota surrounding Jimmy Butler and the Timberwolves. I told you there was more coming. Stick around. We'll tell you whose side he's on. Paul George is picking sides, too. This is getting good, guys.
A better SUV dares to ask, why not? Like, why not versatile? Master of all seasons, all the prizes kind of versatile. Why not turn up the comfort? First class comfort. Why not